Perfect. Welcome, everyone. This is the 2 to 4 star group in the West, and we are super excited. We have an amazing guest speaker today, Kate Scholtes. Kate is a 7-star diamond, 2-time elite. She ended up as number 14 in the network in 2019, so a 2020 elite coach, which we're so excited for her. And I was actually talking to her earlier today, and I think a couple good notables of what I think good questions would be around is if you look at the elite program and know the elite program. I'm going to share some of your numbers, Kate. She ended up with 278 points just in the Success Club category. So getting her coaches at Success Club, and then she hit Success Club. She ended up with 278 points with a total of elite points of 1,062. Like, whoa, huh? Like, she went above and beyond. She had 1,062. 287 just came from that category. She had 61 points in the SC1 category. So a brand new coach comes on, they sell a challenge pack the first month. She had 61 of those coaches do it. Again, I have tons of questions. I'm sure you guys have tons of questions. So Kate, why don't you kind of start off by introducing yourself a little bit and kind of give us like your Beachbody journey, maybe so far, like a rough draft of it.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a super rough draft because it's really long and it's probably really redundant. But hi guys, I'm super excited to talk to you. I actually didn't know I had that many elite points. And then I'm like, think about it. And I'm like, that's just like a lot. That's a lot of points. So that's pretty crazy. But I have been a coach for 2 years, so a little over 2 years. I started in December of 2017. I was a full-time teacher. When I started coaching, I had 500 Instagram followers. I was 35 pounds heavier than I am today. And I had actually joined my coach's challenge group like 9 months prior to when I started coaching. And I did it really good for like 2 weeks and then I quit. So I was an inactive discount coach under my coach's spouse for 9 months. So I was not on her radar. She would kind of like touch base with me and like build that relationship over the next couple months. She was kind of like, I always thought of her as like my fitness friend, even though we didn't know each other in real life. We knew each other on Instagram. And I would like message her like every time I would try something different. So I'd always be like, oh, I'm like trying this cleanse, like wasn't Beachbody. Or I'd be like, I'm going to this gym and I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. And she would always be like, I'm glad you found something that works for you. Like that's all I just remember her like replaying that in my head all the time. But then she would like bring up like, oh, we're going to New Orleans for like this coach thing. Like you should come with us. And she would like bring up these things about me trying coaching. And I was like, whoa, like that's cool for you, but it's not for me. And then for 9 months, I just watched her every single day. I typed in her name on Instagram. My upline is Ashley Dyson, and she at the time was like, I think she was like a diamond. And I think she had like 2,000 followers and that was it. And I just like thought that she was like a top coach. I thought that she was like the biggest deal of the big deals. And I didn't really follow a lot of coaches. I just kind of followed her and kept up with her story. And then in December of 2017, I was still sitting at the same weight I was when I first joined her challenge group. And I was so burned out in my job. I had my first year teaching, I had 36 first graders from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the projects of East LA. And then I had found a new job and I was a middle school literacy specialist for like middle school, high school. And I was coaching middle school basketball. And I was just like, is this it? Like, this is just going to be my life for the rest of my life. I'm like 24 years old and like, I'm going to just do this same thing every day until I retire. And that just like didn't sit well with me. And it sounds so weird when I say it out loud, but I literally was sitting there at lunch on December 1st of 2017. And I thought, I'm going to become a Beachbody coach. Like there was no, like I hadn't talked to Ashley I'm pretty sure I should go back through my messages and find out, but I'm pretty sure I hadn't talked to Ashley in like a month. Like it's not like I had just talked to her. It's not like she had just followed up with me, but I was watching her every single day and I was like, I think I'm gonna become a Beachbody coach. Like she works out and like gets held accountable because she's a coach and she gets paid for it. And like, if I can hold myself accountable for my own health and fitness and make enough money to pay for my own products, get my nails done, then like, that's cool with me. And so I texted her, and I actually texted her and a coach on her team who was my success partner in our challenge group. So we were accountability buddies when I was in a challenge group. I actually texted both of them and was like, tell me about this coaching thing and don't BS me. Because at the time, now my accountability partner was a coach now. So I was like, well, wait a second, like Lauren's a coach too? Like, what is happening? And so they told me all about coaching, and turns out I had been paying the $16 coach fee for 9 months after I thought I had canceled my account. And I was still a discount coach. So all I did was like re-sign up. I think I signed it, just like got my Shakeology and BOD, put it on a credit card that was nearly maxed out, and was like, I'm going to make this happen. And then my coach told me, you're going to hit diamond by February. And that, like, December to February. And I was like, that's not going to happen. Like, I don't even know what diamond is, but that sounds really freaking hard. But I'm an Enneagram 1, and Enneagram 1 sometimes have Enneagram 8 personalities where we like a challenge. And so I was like, cool, I'm going to go diamond in February. And it sounded so hard. But I was like, I'm just going to do the things, what she tells me to do, and I'm just going to go for it. And I ended up hitting diamond in 3 weeks. And it was like, it was just because I put my head down and was just doing the work, I ended up hitting it so much faster. And then I realized, like, that's actually not that hard. It's only 8 people. So then after that, I think like all of 2018, my team popped a diamond like every month. We ended 2018 as an elite team in our first year as a team, which was crazy because everyone told me it wasn't possible. I had multiple people tell me that, like, you could probably hit premier, but like, I don't know about elite. And I was just like, heck no, like, I'm going to go for elite. Like, there's no reason why I can't go for it. I just hit diamond in 3 weeks. I can go find like 4 other people to go hit diamond in 3 weeks. And so not all those diamonds hit diamond in 3 weeks. Like, some of them took 3 months, but I just feel like my whole business, I've just ran really fast, and like, you either catch up or you don't. And that's just kind of my team's mentality. I know, like, Danielle Natoni at my first leadership, I think it was my first leadership, she did a presentation about being the pace car, and she was like, you know, she said the same thing, like, the way she develops leaders is she's the pace car, and she runs really fast, and her people run really fast too because they want to catch up. And so I feel like that was like all of 2018. And then 2019 was harder for sure. I actually quit teaching like 7 months into coaching, insert income disclaimer. And then we moved to Arizona at the beginning of 2019, brought my husband home from law enforcement, insert income disclaimer. And we both worked the business full time. So I feel like last year was this huge transition year, like really transitioning in like, what the heck, we're like working together now, and we own a house and we live here, and our team's like exploding, and how do we keep up with this and how do we keep up with that? And then in like August, we started fertility treatment. So I got diagnosed with PCOS, and we had to start rounds of Clomid, so medicated cycle rounds, got pregnant on the first round, and then in November we lost our baby. So like end of 2019 was probably like the hardest time of my entire life. But I decided that I could either lean the F in. We actually hadn't hit elite in 2019 yet. I didn't have the diamonds until I think it was October or November when I finally had a diamond hold for 6 weeks. And that was in the midst of losing our pregnancy and all of that stuff. But I was like, either I can like pull back and you know, take the time that I need, which totally, if that's like the type of person you are, and that's, you know, what a lot of people do, because, you know, I'm making okay money with volume. So like I can pull back and like, I can quote, focus on my team, and I don't have to like put myself out there and like recruit and all that stuff. But I'm just the type of person that I'm like, there has to be a purpose to this pain. Like there has to be something. And so I feel like in November, I leaned the F into my business, and I feel like I am more myself and more like of a leader that I have always meant to be because I did that. And I'm finding more of like my people because I am getting super vulnerable and real on social media about miscarriage awareness and PCOS and infertility and all this stuff. I'm finding people that are my tribe. And I feel like 2019, I really wasn't finding that a lot. I was recruiting and I was doing all right. But a lot of my points were coming from people that when I had first started my journey, so when I was in a really vulnerable state, sharing my story, sharing my journey, I was recruiting my tribe. And then like 2019, I was really trying to figure it out. Like, you know, what is my story? How am I relatable? Like none of this makes sense anymore. And then all of a sudden we came into another vulnerable part of my story, and I just leaned in, and I feel like, my team, like I'm having one of the best months that I've ever had recruiting wise, and with Success Club points. And I just feel so much more aligned to my business now, even after like the hardest 6 months of my life. So yeah, that's like my story in a nutshell, I guess.
I love it. No, thank you so much. And thanks for sharing and being vulnerable with us too. Okay. Questions. You guys can take yourself off mute. You guys can write them in the chat, but this is your time. So ask away.
I have a question.
What's that?
How did you get so many points with your PS+1? Like, tell us all your tricks on getting them to get people to join them, like right when they join.
Yeah. So PS+1, I feel like is the easiest for me because, I feel like I'm just so about my coaches just sharing their own journey and reaching out to people like ASAP. So when they get signed up, I'm like, you're going Emerald in your first week. Like there's just no, like I just set really strong expectations in the beginning. Like Emerald is a first week goal. You're going to go find 2 people. I don't care like who it is, but let's talk to your warm market. I feel like a lot of new coaches try and like say they're going to build their cold market, which is great. You're going to need your cold market eventually, but you have a warm market. And most people that sign up, they have probably 200 to 500 followers on Instagram average. Emerald is 2 of those people. Emerald is like your mom wanting to try Shakeology or your husband wanting to do 6 weeks of the work, like whatever the case might be. I just like really like dumb it down for them. Like I just tell them like how simple it really is. And it's the same thing with Diamond. So I make my coaches take action right away. When they get signed up, I send them a PDF that basically tells them like your coach starting point, which is posting your coach announcement post. So they post their coach announcement. And then I have them tag me in it so I can go support them on it. The next day they're inviting people that liked their coach announcement post. So like they're just starting to share right away. I get the business activity tracker is literally like my team's Bible. And so they get started using the tracker right away. Like I feel like I set those expectations just from the front that they're just going to start hitting Success Club. You're just going to start helping 3 people a month. That's all. Like it's not hard. And I also set those expectations in like my coach sneak peeks or my coach info sessions. So like they know what they're getting into when they sign up. I'm telling them you're going to have to talk to people. Yes, you're going to have to send people messages. And if you're not okay with that, this isn't a good fit for you. And that was a big shift I made like I would even say like beginning of 2019 was a big shift I made because Jess Dukes said that that's what she was doing. And she was setting those expectations in her sneak peeks. And so I was like, cool, that's what I'm going to do. And then you're attracting the people that are just ready to take action right away. So like sending invites isn't a big deal. So I feel like that's probably how I get people hitting like, getting that first point. It's just Emerald. I'm not even talking to them about really points yet. I'm just like, go get 2 people. Go help 2 people with the same thing that you just got signed up with. Or like, does your husband want to try 6 weeks of the work? My husband's doing it. Like he might like that. Or does your mom want to try Shakeology? Like it's just talking to them with how simple it is. And it's funny because sometimes I'll have coaches who maybe they didn't do the training or they didn't watch the like Emerald and 24-hour call or whatever. And then I get on a one-on-one with them and they're like, oh, like I could ask my sister if she wanted to do this. Like I could, like they forget about their warm market. They think that they need to go grow a giant Instagram, and that's not the case. So I think expectations are huge. I think when you just set those expectations, they just go and do it. It's nothing fancy, it's nothing special. I don't have people that have a crazy Instagram following or anything like that. It's just sharing their journey with the people closest to them and having them do it with them. Like we all want accountability partners. So telling them like, who's someone you want to do the workouts with? Go sign them up and sign them up with as a discount coach. So that's pretty much how I get them started on that. What is working best for you for recruiting all those great working coaches this month? So I have been running for the last like 2 months. My team, I run them with my diamonds, like in my downline. So there's quite a few of us. I think I have like 26 downline diamonds like total. And probably half of them run this group with me, but we do like a free group for coaching. So we get them plugged into a group. It's something I learned from Holly Hillier. We get them plugged into a free group, just like we would like a free challenge group. We give them 5 days worth of workouts. So we just use the Vimeo links for like the sample workouts. So they get to try like a bunch of different stuff. And then we get them set up with a meal plan, and then we get them set up with basically like mini coach trainings and info throughout the week. So like the first day is all about mindset and talking to them about like how this is a long-term game and how that, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then we talk about mindset around posting on Instagram and social media. And then we tell them to go post. So it's actually very like action driven. And so then like they're trying out coaching and like without the actual tie of actually signing up as a coach. There's no risk to it. And then the next day we're like, okay, you just posted a sweaty selfie yesterday about your workout or whatever. You're going to go invite all of those people that liked your photo. And we have these people who are not signed up as coaches. Half of them aren't even challengers. Go message the people that are watching their stories or liked the photo they posted yesterday and say like, if I were to run, like hypothetically speaking, if I were to run an accountability group where we could like work out together, would you be interested? And it is, you guys, it is mind blowing how many people get responses. Like their response percentage is way higher than mine ever has been. And they're like, yeah, maybe, like, what's it all about? And then the people are like, oh crap, like, what do I do now? I'm not a coach. How do I sign them up? What do I need to do? I'm going to sign up as a coach. And we get people signed up as coaches by Wednesday because people are like interested and want to join them. And so it helps us because we're setting those expectations, you know, for the first couple days. Here's what coaching really is all about. And then they're like taking that action and they're getting like these little deposits into their confidence bucket that like people might actually be interested if they go all in. Cause that's what everyone's fear is. Everyone's fear around starting is worried that no one's going to be interested. So when they can like try it out and then find out people might be interested, it just like helps them get started. So we've been doing that the last 2 months. It works really well. And then I also just run like regular coach info sessions where I just give people info and I just talk about coaching a lot on my Instagram and my stories and that kind of stuff. So that's pretty much that. Oh, for like the Emerald thing, for only coaches wanting to actively coach, would you mention it to any discount coaches? I just do it for people who actively want to coach. If people are discount coaches, I make them just really focus on their journey. My focus this year is getting coaches or getting challengers to sign people up and like because they want to become a coach. But my first focus with them is getting results because I feel like you can work this business so hard and you can send however many invites and you can put in the time, but like if you don't actually love what we have to offer and you're not actually getting results and you're not in love with your own journey, it's not going to work. So I don't really talk to discount coaches or customers about getting people to join. I sometimes get people referred to me just because their friends are in my group. And then I'll be like, you could just sign up as a coach and sign them up. But I don't like actively try to get discount coaches to get emeralds or anything like that. So all of those points for Elite was all like actively working coaches that were collecting those points.
Okay, so you guys take your South I'll wait for my questions. Keep on asking.
Just really quick, for the free coach group, are you running it in the tracker on Facebook?
We run it on Facebook so that they don't have to have an account to get into the tracker. So we run that on Facebook.
Makes sense.
Yeah, because you have to have a bot account to get access to the tracker. So we just run it on Facebook, just like how a lot of us run free groups.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. It's totally not my idea. All credit to Holly Hillier because that's what I got it from. So I just tweaked some things to fit with my like tribe and like my expectations for my team. So I think you guys can like tweak the content for like however you run your teams. Like I think her second day was like, go like put like love deposits on people's stuff, like go engage with people, go like reconnect with people. My team is very not about that. We don't think that we have to build relationships like in the DMs in order to send an invite. So we were like, go invite the people that liked your photo, but you working out, go invite them. So that like it's very much aligned to our team expectations as well. So I think tweaking the content to fit for you. We've only run them twice ever. So we just started in December. So we've run them once a month. And we've just kept the same group. And then, yeah, just added people in. Oh, do you let your coaches piggyback off your boot camps? I was just telling Sid about this today. I actually, for a really long time, let my coaches piggyback off my boot camps, and then I realized they were using it as a crutch. I think because I'm a teacher, I have this like, just like a weird teacher brain where I'm like, I just notice different things that I like used to notice with my first graders, which is really funny. But I was noticing my new coaches were like, oh, I can just sign people up whenever because I can just plug them into Kate's group and they're going to be taken care of and like yada, yada, yada. Versus when I'm telling them, your job as a coach is to run these groups. So I'll plug you into my challenge group so you can see how I run it. But like you're starting your own. When is your challenge group going to start? What's it going to be called? How many people are you going to invite to it? What program are you doing? Like, are you going to make it a multi-program? So I help them like brainstorm ideas to get it set up. But they are, I think for probably the last 6 months or so, they start their own challenge group. And I feel like I have gotten a lot more independent coaches because I've been doing that. I have had zero pushback from it because when they are talking to me about coaching or in my coach info sessions, I'm telling them, as a coach, you run these groups. So they know going into it, they're going to run these groups. Now I'm going to give them support. I'm going to tell them how to run them and teach them where to find resources on how to run them. But I believe in ownership from the get-go. And I just realized like my people were using it as a crutch. They weren't hitting Success Club. They were just kind of signing people up whenever because they could just plug them into my group versus like they're running their own group. It's like, oh crap. Like I can't just have one person. Like I need to go sign up like 2 more people at least so that they can like talk to each other. And then like I'm going to need to go get 10 people because that, seems like a good group. And so they take more action and own, like when they're having more ownership over their own challenge groups is what I've found with my coaches. And like I said, I've never had any pushback from it. I'm just like, plug you into mine so you can see how I do it. And then you're going to do your own.
Okay, so talk to me about your inviting strategy because this, but when people ask me a lot of the times, who do I think is the best person at inviting in the network? And I always go to you. I'm like, Kate has inviting down. So walk us through your steps of what you exactly do, and then what do you have your team do? Because I think what you have your team do is gold.
Yeah. So I still invite. I think a lot of people think that like once you get to a certain point, you never have to invite again. And that might be true for some people, but like it's not true for me. I did not invite, would not have a business. And I hate the thought of if I don't invite someone, they might get invited by someone else and they're going to sign up with them. And that like pisses me off, you guys. Like, oh, I get so fired up about that because it's happened to me. It's happened to me where I've had people I went to high school with and I'm scrolling on my timeline and then I see that they signed up as a coach and I was too afraid to invite them because of whatever reason. And so I still invite. My numbers have decreased, so I don't invite 62 people a day like I used to when I was a newer coach. I invite about like 15 to 30 if I'm really pushing a day. But so Sydney, what kind of like, do you want me to I'm just going to talk about my inviting stuff, and then you tell me if you want me to touch on something specific, because I might miss what you want me to talk about, because I can't read your mind. But I basically teach my team, if you are showing up on your social media and you are showing up authentically in your journey, people are going to feel like they know you, okay? So I have never been the type of person that is going to message someone and be like, oh my God, girl, like, what kind of dogs do you have? And then I have to somehow transition it to fitness. Like it doesn't make sense to me. I personally think if someone were to send me a message, and this happens all the time with other companies, like, oh my God, girl, you're so pretty. Like, you should be a product model. Or when they're like, where'd you get your leggings? Do you work out? Like, you should work out with me. Like, that's just weird to me. And I feel like for me, I think people are just trying to get to know me to sell me something. So I basically tell my people, if you don't want to be a salesperson, then show the freak up on your social media and be your authentic self, because people are going to feel like they know you. Like if they're watching your stories, I mean, there's plenty of people that I watch their stories and I feel like I know them and I've never talked to them in my life. So if they were to send me a message and like, send me a message like, hey girl, like I see you watching my stuff. I don't know if you've seen, but I'm actually running this boot camp. I'd be way more likely to sign up with that girl than someone who's like, oh my gosh, like I love your Instagram, like blah, blah, blah. Like I can't even think of an example because I don't use that. But I think that you have to invite the way you would want to be invited. If you're someone that wants to be buttered up before you get sold something, then like by all means, that's what you should do. But I just have never been that way. So I basically teach my team, if they are watching you, if they're liking your post, and if they are following you, they're in your business. Okay. It's just like if you were to walk into Old Navy, you're going to have someone, if they're a good employee, come up to you and say, how can I help you? Can I help you find anything? Are you looking at anything for something specific? That's just like it is on our social media. So I teach my team that. I don't teach them to invite people that don't follow them. I think a lot of people are like, oh, so you cold message. And I'm like, no. I think cold messaging is when you invite people that don't follow you. I feel like if they follow you, they're in your business, they already know what you're about, they're seeing your stuff. That's like a lukewarm invite. Warm is like you've been talking for a while. So I don't think it's cold inviting if they're watching my stuff all the time. And then I tell my people to just like be like, how would you talk to your best friend? Like my invite is literally, hey sister, I don't know if you've seen, but I'm enrolling for my next boot camp and I want to see if it might be something you want deets on. Like that's literally my invite. And so when it comes to like scripts, I don't give my team scripts. I want them to find their own voice. I give them my example or have them look at other examples that people have posted in the team page. But I really want them to think about like, how would you ask your best friend to join your challenge group? And then that's just how you ask other people. And I feel like that helps a lot because it stops like the overthinking of saying the perfect thing and like, or like word vomiting and sounding really salesy. And then I also just use like when it comes down to like the power of inviting, I also just tell them like, you wouldn't just put a post on Facebook and it say like, I'm having a party on Friday. It's at 7, like bring a dish, like anyone's welcome. If I saw that post, I'd probably be like, oh, that's really cool, but like she probably isn't talking to me. Or, that's like, I haven't really talked to her in that long a time, so that'd be weird if I showed up. But if someone sends you a message and they're like, hey, Kate, do you want to come to my party on Friday at 7? Like, I'd love for you to be there. I'm like way more likely to join their party. So I just talk about that like with my coaches. My coaches are like mind blowing. You're right. Like I wouldn't go to someone's party because a lot of my team are introverts. I like to say we're outgoing introverts. And so like we're not going to show up to someone's party if they don't like specifically ask us to show up to the party. So I teach them that, and then I also just tell them like, if you want to sign up if you want to hit Success Club, you've got to be sending at least 15 invites a day, like at least. 5 is not going to cut it. Especially in today's world where we are getting spammed with advertisements constantly and people messaging us constantly. Like, you have to stand out, and you have to 10x your action. I've always done the notebook method where I take like a piece of notebook and I fold it in half and I number it 1 through 31 and then 32 through 62. And that's what I did like the majority of my business. And I just like filled in people's Instagram handles when I invited them, and I would fill up a notebook page. So I tell my team, like, if you want to 10x this thing, here's what I did. Like, just go do it. And most of my team does send probably 50 plus invites a day, because that's just like what we're used to. My new coaches start out at like 15. And then as they start to like build their network and as they start to get their, feet under them, they start to up it a little bit. Or if we're pushing for a big goal, we start to up it. But inviting's so freaking simple, and people overcomplicate it constantly. But I think you just like, you don't know the answer unless you ask. And that's like what inviting is. Do you want me to touch on anything else about that, Sydney?
No, I think that was it. I loved how you changed, like when you gave your coaches the Success Club tracker, she went and edited the 5 and put a 15. So from day one, everyone's inviting 15. So it's not like, oh, here's your just 5 a day. Like they have the expectation to invite 15 a day.
Yeah, I photoshopped it in Canva.
Yeah.
When corporate gave it, I was like, 5 is not going to cut it.
I love it.
We're talking to 15.
I love it. I think that's so smart, because from the beginning you're like, okay, we're going to get you started. We want to get you a quick win, and that's how you get people quick wins.
Yeah.
Any other question? The first 2 weeks of your onboarding system, you talked about that?
Yeah, let me answer this one because this one's still about inviting. Do you spend any time connecting? Yes. I spend probably 20 to 30 minutes a day connecting. I just don't connect the two of them. Like, they are separate. I am not engaging with someone's content or talking to someone with the intention of inviting them. So I'm building relationships with no intention of ever inviting them. Like, if I don't come across their profile when I'm sending invites, they're not going to get an invite. If the conversation naturally goes to that, then obviously I'm going to invite them, but I'm not connecting with people with the intention to invite them someday. But I do spend time connecting or like engaging with people in order to grow my social media. So like the only way to grow your social media right now is organic growth. You can it is so dangerous to use any kind of app or third-party tool. So like I have to connect with other people, and I have to like engage with other people in order to get engagement, in order to get community within my Instagram. But I'm not doing it with the intention of ever getting them to sign up with something. An example would be, I have this girl who's local who she has like a pretty good following. She's a personal trainer. I had met her in person a couple times, and I was just connecting with her on social media. And I was actually like, just connecting with her and getting engagement. She would give me engagement back, like all this kind of stuff. And then one day she asked me about a different MLM. And if I had heard of them and what I thought of them. And I actually had never heard of them. I guess they're new. But I was like, honestly, I don't know. But like, here's some questions you can ask them in order to see if it's a good fit for you. Like, ask them about compensation. Ask them about rank advancement. Ask them, I feel like I like know network marketing, like our business structure so well that like, here's some questions to ask. And so then she was bringing me back the answers. And I was like, oh, red flag here, because it's going to cost you $500 to $1,000 to start. Like, heck no. Like, you can start for $160 with what I do. And so I was just like talking to her, and she knew my story. She'd been following me for a while. And I was like, dude, I'm going to literally kick myself if I do not ask you, but have you ever thought about being a coach? Because literally because I asked her, like, why do you want to join this company? And like, her why did not align with what that company had to offer. And I was like, dude, I think you'd be really good. And the next day I met with her at a coffee shop, talked to her for 3 hours about the business. Now she's on my Team Cup team next month, and she's almost at Success Club, signed up like 2 weeks ago. So like, I was building a relationship with her outside of, so I hate when people are like, you don't build relationships with people. Like, yes, I do. I just don't do it in order to send them an invite. It just like happened. And like, she's going to be a boss. Like, mark my words. She's 36 weeks pregnant and is like, I'm going to hit diamond by the time this baby comes. So, I think like it's just separate. Like, I spend a separate time doing connecting, engaging. separate time sending invites. And I don't use any of this as like an intention to ever sign them up. So my first 2 weeks of onboarding with my new coaches, specific videos I send them. So I send them the Beachbody new coach training because it's bomb. They just redid it like, I don't know, a few months ago, I feel like, the second half of 2019. And it's really good as far as like logistics go. So I send them that. And then I have like 5 videos in my team page under the unit section that talks about mindset, talks about rejection. It talks about the tracker, and it talks about like Emerald. It talks about going Emerald. And that is pretty much it. That's like my new coach training. But then either once a month or bi-weekly, depending on how many coaches I'm enrolling, I'll run a new coach mentorship in the challenge tracker. So there's a national wake-up call about it. I don't remember who it was, but she was like a full-time nurse, 5-star full-time nurse, something. And she ran it in the challenge tracker. And so what I do is I run in the challenge tracker. I give them a topic to post about every single day. So like Monday, you're going to talk about your personal development. Tuesday, it's going to be a transformation photo. If you don't have one yet, you're posting your before photo and like talking about where you're going. Wednesday, it's about Wednesday, I don't know what Wednesday's about. Health and fitness, maybe. Thursday's about coaching. Friday's about health and fitness. Saturday's an engagement post. Sunday's like their choice. So I make them post something every single day for the week, and then they screenshot it and drop it in the comments. And then I make them screenshot their tracker and post their tracker every single day too. So they're just taking action like right out the gate. And it's usually within like the first week or two that they sign up as a coach. They get plugged into that. That's why I run them, like, depends on kind of my marketing plan, but I run them at either every 2 weeks or once a month. And that's it. It's pretty much like go Emerald and then let's go Diamond. And that's just like, it's just action. It's all action.
Questions? Anything else, guys?
Do you give them like a timeline? Obviously, I know you said Ashley kind of gave you a timeline of when you needed to go Diamond. Do you give them a timeline, or do you wait for them to go Emerald and then you're like, okay, next goal is Diamond, you should hit it in X amount of days type of thing? And what does that look like? Because obviously going Emerald, they can do that with 2 people in their house. Like, doesn't really require a lot of work. Mm-hmm. But Diamond, like, they're going to need to find those at least 8 people, and then hopefully, you know, depending on if they have a controlled account or not, to get those Emeralds, which I feel like is my biggest struggle. Is I can get coaches to sign coaches, but not coaches who want to sign coaches under them, right? So I'll have girls with like 17 fucking coaches, and I'm like, where are the Emeralds? Like, god dang, right? So yeah. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So I actually just did a getting started right call. So I do getting started right calls with my new coaches in my entire downline. I open it up to everyone, and I do it bi-weekly. So every other Monday is a getting started right call. And all I talk about is mindset, action, which is the tracker, Success Club, Success Starter, Emerald, and Diamond. That's all that's on the call. And Emerald, it says right underneath it, first week as a coach. And then Diamond, it says, I started to be a little bit more lenient, and I said 30 to 90 day goal. So the reason it used to be 30 to 60 days. But with the Success Club or the Success Starter program changing and, like, you know, having them have 6 months to hit that, we've been really working on like long-term vision. So I say Diamond's a 30 to 90 day goal. So at most 90 days from when you sign up as a coach, you're hitting Diamond. It's only 8 people. And then I push my people really hard to just start talking about coaching right away. I think a lot of new coaches like shy away from talking about coaching, and they end up not signing up coaches. So I actually come into, like, I end up with people as rubies, you guys. Like, I never thought that I would have rubies on my team. But I'll end up with like rubies, or like I have a girl who's almost diamond and she has like an emerald, like a working coach on one leg, and she has like all her other people. She just needs that emerald on the other side. And she got that working coach like a long time ago. So I think if they just start talking about coaching and like how it's impacted them so far and like where they're going and really talking about that vision, is how they're going to attract other coaches. And then I also give them I have like a recorded webinar that I did that's like a coach sneak peek. And so I give them that to send to people if they're interested in coaching, because I feel I'm way more confident in talking about compensation plan and like all that stuff. And I like to think that I get people hyped so they can just send that to people and people are like, I want to sign up. So yeah, 30 to 90 day goal. I would say that most of my diamonds have hit diamond within that time frame. I don't really have a lot of diamonds that have taken longer than that. I maybe have like 2 that took like 9 months or so because they just were like dabbling. But like people that are like actually working, taking action, doing the things, like they're going to hit it within 3 months. That's especially if they're hitting Success Club. Like Success Club 3 months in a row is 9 people. So like they should be hitting it, like mathematically they should be hitting diamond within 3 months.
To piggyback off that, one of the things that you told me about like last year when we were talking about this is you said, when I have a new coach, I give them like the diamond roadmap or like the bubble sheet, the diamond bubble sheet out there with like their picture and then all the things, and said, fill this out. Mm-hmm. Put a name on everyone, and people would do it. Again, it's so simple, but sometimes when it's eye-catching, when you're like, oh, okay, I need to fill out these bubbles with names, people will do it.
Yeah, like I just had a girl, she signed up as a coach this month, and she hit Emerald on accident. Didn't even like, she was just like, I was just signing people up as discount coaches. Like, that's what you told me to do. They're going to save money. And I was like, you're right. And so she had ended up signing up like 3 people. So she was Emerald +1. And so I got her on a one-on-one. So I only do one-on-ones with like my people that I really see taking action. And like, I want to like breathe that belief into them. That's why I have the group calls. But I was like, I made her bubble sheet and it like had her name at the top and like her picture. And then I had her checks. Like she had 1 on each leg and then she had an extra on her right. And I was like, dude, you only have this many people left for diamond. And she was like, oh, like it's that easy? And I'm like, yes, like go print this off. When is your diamond date? When are you going to hit? Like, I think you should push for 30 days from now. And so she's like, okay. Like she was like, oh, okay. Like, I guess, like whatever. But then she like gave me a date and then she sent me a picture in her like start today journal. It said like, which goal are you first going to work on or whatever? And it was like, I will be a diamond coach by March, whatever the date was, or February 20th, I think was actually her date. So she was like, I'll be a diamond coach by February 20th. So, and I think when you guys like, when you breathe belief into them, like you're going to do it in 30 days. Like, it's not a big deal. They're like, oh, I'm going to do it in 30 days. Like, I'm just going to go talk to 8 people and sign them up. And just like that just like helps them visually see it for sure. Talk about how you mentor beyond diamond. Are you sure? I don't know, you guys. I feel like mentoring past diamond, it's just, I'm going to run and I'm going to see who catches up. Like, it's just like, they know what to do. When you get to diamond, you know what to do. Like, go help someone else get to diamond. Like I have Sydney, Thompson is she's my elite coach underneath me. Her and I started coaching like around the same time. And she hit elite this last year, like for 2020. And I ask her all the time, like, how did you get to 5-star? And she's like, well, you got to 5-star. So I wanted to go to 5-star. And so, and I have like a couple other star diamonds that they're just like, I already knew how to get to diamond, so I'm just going to help someone else get to diamond. I think like when I overcomplicate it and I'm like, okay, I'm going to have a star diamond mentorship and we're going to be in a push group and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. They're like, no thanks, I don't have time. Like my people are very like anti-push groups, anti like extra mentorship besides just like getting on calls with me and like us strategizing or us masterminding or us like, even doing power hours together because they're busy. A lot of them are teachers. They don't want to get into another group and have extra things on their to-do list. Like they know what they need to be doing. And so I feel like, if you want to get to star diamond, you just have to be self-motivated. Like all of you guys, I'm sure that there's no one on this call that was like, my coach did this exact training and this exact mentorship, and that's what got me to 2-star. You probably are all like, I got to diamond. I went and helped my husband get to diamond, and then we helped someone else get to diamond. And that is how I hit superstar. And that's just like how it goes. Like they just have to want it bad enough. They have to want to go for it. I have people going in and out of diamond all the time, and I'm just like, they don't want it bad enough. So like, who's my next leader? Who's my next person that's going to push? It doesn't mean that I don't love that person any less or I don't care about them. But like, I'm a mentor first. I'm your business partner first. I'm not your best friend all the time. And I feel like that's a mindset shift that I really had to make because I'm so big about community and I want to be best friends with all of my coaches. But sometimes I'm going to have to tell them things that they don't want to hear. And having to separate, right now I'm your business mentor, is like, it's hard, but you have to do it for them to be able to grow in their business. Nope, I didn't do message pods. I hate message pods. I have a diamond chat, but really in it is just like us like BSing half the time, just like sending each other funny memes or like celebrating like, oh my God, I signed up this girl and she's going to be awesome. Like that's pretty much our diamond chat. And we have like a diamond mastermind every week, but nope, I tried message pods. I've tried everything, literally anything that you can like tell me, I've tried. And I've just found that keeping it simple and just taking action, literally following the business activity tracker and 10xing it is what is going to create successful coaches, and just breathing that belief into them. Like Danielle Natoni was on our team call last night, and she said the reason she signed up as a coach wasn't because her coach, I think her coach is named Jackie. That could be wrong. And she was just like, it wasn't because Jackie was like, here's how you make money, the volume and compensation plan. She was like, I just got back from a trip from Hawaii. And that made Danielle and Tony think like, oh, cool. I'd like to go to Hawaii. And then she said like, something else. But then she looked her right in the eye and said, I think you'd crush it. She didn't know anything else about coaching. And she said that one sentence that she thought I would be good at it is what made me want to become a coach. And so when you just like breathe that belief into people, it doesn't matter. Like they're going to figure it out. It doesn't matter the how if they just know that they can. And that's just kind of how I mentor like all my star diamonds, pretty much anyone on my team. I just keep it simple and breathe a lot of belief into them.
Gold. Like this is so good. Okay, we are out of time today, but thank you, Kate, so much. Seriously, like everything you dropped was so much knowledge. We really appreciate you having here. Everyone else, I'll see you next week, same time. And if you're not in the message thread, the 2 to 4 stars, message me to make sure that you're in that message thread because that's where all the communication's going to be at. Okay, thanks, guys. Thanks, Kate. Bye.